through and beyond, directly into the storm, the maelstrom of tyranny. It is the only way to defeat it. The people are waking up. The info war is on. 5 million guns are being purchased a month. I pray that the globalists don't start a civil war and stage new Oklahoma cities. I pray for good judges that has pointed out the Hatari militia were completely innocent and the FBI lied and set them up and had their informants make the statements and attribute it to others. And I pray for my family and I pray for myself, but more importantly, I pray for justice. We're going to our guest who's under globalist attack in a great way, an evil raw milk seller. No victims, but Big Pharma that owns Big Agra wants you to drink the sludge they call milk. They don't want this healthy real milk catching on, so the attack is on. Amish are being SWAT-teamed, facing decades in prison. Families are being SWAT-teamed, million-dollar bails. Amish publicly selling to their neighbor. Just vicious Soviet-style thugs are upon us. Speaking of our own government and the bioethics journal saying, yes, we need to kill babies up to age 3. You're an extremist if you don't want healthy babies to be killed up to age 3. I'm not joking. We broke that a month ago. It's now mainstream news. The shocking face of China's brutal one-child policy can't happen here. Top academic and eugenicists are calling for what Obama's science czar once advocated. And I'm sorry to have to post the photo, but they even kill babies after birth in China. This is the shocking face of China's brutal one-child policy, which many academics and pressure groups are now calling to be imposed in the West. The image shows a 9-month-old baby lying dead in a bucket, forcibly aborted by Chinese family planning authorities in the town of Moshan. She was just a few weeks away. They injected it. The baby still lived, begged, was crying. They put it in a bucket of water. Because the parents of the baby already had a child, they were hunted down. This is what they're calling for here in the U.S., to comply with China's draconian one-child policy. The mother was injected with a poison that induced an abortion. But after the baby was pulled out inhumanely like a piece of meat, this is a U.S. exclusive, English language exclusive, it was still alive. Paul's wife's Chinese. She gets him all this because she reads it. It was still alive and began to cry before doctors slung the defenseless child in a bucket, left to die. Well, that's how they do it at the partial birth abortion mills. They just throw them in a bucket to die. Of course, in China, it's come out, they save the babies, too, for medical experiments living. But again, they're not human, according to our media. You're a conspiracy theorist if you say it's a life. See, the sickness, torture's good. Secret arrest is good. John Corzine can steal billions, it's good. Cancer viruses and the vaccines. And the public, those that aren't awake, will not awaken because they'd have to admit everything they were told was a lie. The timestamp of the image tells us the baby was killed Monday. The image began circulating today on Weibo, China's version of Twitter, which has around 260 million members. The story was attracted widespread revulsion directed against the family planning authorities responsible for the murder of the baby. I have U.S. family planning videos, and we're going to our guest, that we've shown, where our government admits they funded these policies in China, set it up. The agreement was they'd make them the new power base, because they'll leverage out the rest of the world industrially and then force that model everywhere. See, but the lowest common denominator forces that model everywhere else. And where they talk about how great it is they've killed the babies and how great it is. This is from the 60s before it was even law in the 70s. And they hunt you down. The UN does it in Africa. And I see BBC articles. The ignorant Africans run when the UN comes to give them vaccines. And it's all the women crying, all our babies in the village, over 100 women were, over 100 women were pregnant. Some only about to give birth in days. All the babies died. Some of the women died. Women have been known in Africa, when they're hunted down in the jungle and given the shots, they will then run and chop their arm off as quick as they can with a machete. And of course, then it came out the UN was doing that. This is your murdering government, your global corporate murder system. And all of you that think you're going to serve the system and be part of the power structure, when they release that mega bioweapon and you're rolling out and you and your whole family are dying if the New World Order has its way and we can't stop them, I want you as you die to get right with God and admit you were wrong. That's the key, is that you know the truth in your heart. That's more important than anything. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?